Well, welcome back to Friends by Film. I'm one of the hosts here, Daniel Polidoro.
And I'm Tyler Pacholski. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
We've had some major Marvel news during the week. The
I
biggest
think
news,
major's an understatement at this
yeah,
point in time. It's overwhelming, man.
it's an MCU overload heading into Phase 4. Tyler, what was the biggest headline for you this week regarding the MCU?
Well, out of the more than 10 items that I obviously can't count on my fingers, but I think the one or two things that really excited me and really surprised me was first and foremost, I think a few days ago we found out that Chris Evans, Captain America, is going to be in some capacity returning to the MCU. What that looks like, I don't know, but Captain America is one of the stronger characters, I think, in that MCU, the Marvel Comics universe or cinematic universe, blah. And I really enjoyed those films. So by default, I'm very much curious to see what happens. We understand that at the end of Endgame, he went back in time to return the 6 Infinity Stones and got to spend life with Peggy Carter, and we see him as an old man. Part of me thinks that the most logical route is to explore his time returning the stones, maybe teaming up with another Avenger. Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Tony Stark, did die at the end of Endgame to have the funeral. Perhaps, maybe this is under wraps. I'm not saying this is an exclusive, but what if we get Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America either as a film or a limited series? Probably more a limited series since Disney Plus is the priority for Disney. I could see that happening. And yeah, I'm excited for that. So for me, the one thing that really stuck out to me in all this news is Chris Evans returning as Captain America. So how about for you, Daniel? What
That
really
was
caught your attention?
the internet was on fire with Chris Evans returning. As far as that, I was not a big Captain Marvel fan initially.
Captain
Thought the
America fan?
Captain America fan. See, I forgot his name.
It's all good.
I've moved on to Phase 4. Uh, Captain America. I was not a big Captain America fan initially, but as I was doing a Marvel rewatch in anticipation of Endgame. Okay, for full disclosure, I did not see uh, Captain America: First Avenger or Winter Soldier until last year or whenever, 2019, before Endgame. So I went into Civil War completely full Iron Man. So I was like, F you, Captain America. I was like, I don't like him at all. He's such a goody two shoe. So I saw the Avengers and stuff like that too. So I mean, I knew of him, but I didn't delve into the character or what he really stood for. So I went back and did like a refresher, and also caught up on some other ones I skipped, like Thor 2. I skipped that one, and I watched First Avenger, Winter Soldier. Thoroughly enjoyed them. I would never buy them, but I enjoyed them. Civil War became so much more rewarding. Then going into the rest of the Avengers, didn't care for Ultron still. There's parts that are okay. But then I went into Infinity War and going into Endgame, of course. Endgame became so much more rewarding, going back, catching up on all the ones that I missed and stuff like that. So I do respect the character. I do not see why they would want to bring him back. Maybe, well, of course, money. Um, but also they could fill in, some side adventures, or if he might show up in Black Widow as a rumor. There's also he could be a scroll. There's a secret invasion show coming out. He could be part of that. He could be sprinkled in over several films just as cameos. That's what I would prefer because they gave him such a satisfying ending to Endgame. I mean, not only do we see the finality of Iron Man, we see, you know, Cap gets a happy ending, and it's a wonderful send off. I prefer not to mess with that too much. And as far as Tony Stark coming back, I think he should be out of the Marvel MCU for a while, come back with like Ironheart as a show or in some capacity, maybe as an AI system down the road, would be fine. But those are my initial thoughts on that headline.
So you weren't as really as excited about that news.
No,
What really like got the flames fan or the flames fanning for you? Like what was that for you, man?
today's news of the announcement that Ethan Hawke is going to go into the superhero universe with the casting of Moon Knight, which is a Disney Plus show starring Oscar Isaac. I don't know much about Moon Knight. Couldn't tell you what it's about, but the idea of having a fresh character, be introduced to us through the MCU, I think is a great idea. I think it's what the Marvel Cinematic Universe needs. Some these new characters, these backlog characters, like Doctor Strange was, like Black Panther was, bring them to the forefront, like an Ant-Man was. That's what I think we need to do. We don't need to see Bucky and the Winter Soldier stuff. We don't need to see. I'm not thrilled about that show. I'm not thrilled about even Captain Marvel. I thought that was disappointing, so I'm not really thrilled about that where that's going. So I'm not. My excitement level for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is kind of low. But the thought of seeing Ethan Hawke as a villain in a Marvel show against Oscar Isaac, that really gets me excited about that show and what could happen with the possibilities. Also, they didn't announce it this week, but they've already announced that Blade is coming back, so I'm excited about that as well. Deadpool 3 was also sort of, it's good. I think it's good that Marvel is like, okay, we're going to embrace the rated R. We'll see how much they go into it, but I mean, what were your thoughts on Deadpool 3 announcement joining the MCU?
Well, I didn't have any doubt that it was not going to be rated R. I think Kevin Feige. I think we live in an era right now where R-rated superhero films are not only well made and can perform well critically, but also perform successfully. And I think there was a long time where putting the R rating on a film was almost like saying, well, we're not going to be pulling in as much money. So I think Ryan Reynolds, give him all the credit he deserves with all the cast and crew, spearheading that first entry Deadpool that we saw back in
Yeah, when
2016,
he leaked the footage,
leaking the
right?
footage. Like they had gold, and I'm very glad to hear that Kevin Feige is going to honor that and he sees the success of that. Obviously wants more of the success, but I think at the end of the day, Kevin Feige is a super fan, loves these characters, wants to share these characters with everyone else in a manner that is only befitting of the character. And so Ryan Reynolds gets Deadpool, and I think Kevin Feige knows that. He wants to honor that and make sure that there's enough creative liberty to do that. It's going to be funny seeing Deadpool alongside a character like somewhere down the road, like Tom Holland Spider-Man or just a Spider-Man. It'll be fun to see that
That would be
dynamic.
fantastic. There's that awesome
Yeah,
comic run, Deadpool Spider-Man.
there you go. And so I'm excited. So it's encouraging to hear that they're going to maintain and stick with that tone, that that level of nuance that Deadpool requires, and sometimes to the point where it needs to be art. So I'm glad to hear that. So I was happy with the news. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was actually scared that they might even not even use Deadpool after the Fox acquisition. That because Deadpool 2 was okay. It was serviceable. It was not on par with the first one in my opinion. Although Deadpool 2 does have like the greatest end credit scene. The self-aware where he gets the Green Lantern script and I don't know, kills Ryan Reynolds. I just love that. But
Yeah.
so I would love them to do. They're not going to do this, but I would love to see Deadpool verse the Marvel Universe if they could do that somehow.
Mm.
Have you heard of that storyline where he literally goes through and tries to kill every
I
single
think yeah,
character?
yeah. I think I have heard of that. I think if that is something down the road, that's definitely going to be something that culminates to an event. So, I mean, at this point in time, who would have thought we'd be getting Moon Knight Disney Plus series? Who would have thought we were getting She Hulk or
Yeah, She-Hulk's pretty cool too.
yeah, or Blade? And so I think at this particular point in time, anything can go, man. I mean, WandaVision, can you imagine this coming out in maybe like the late 90s, early 2000s? People would have been like, what the hell is this? But, the Marvel Universe, I would say for the general population, for a lot of fans, has really earned their respect and their allegiance. And so, um, I think the phases so far have been fantastic. There have been bits and pieces. I still haven't seen Thor 2 or Thor the Dark World.
Hmm.
Still haven't watched all of Avengers Age of Ultron. Not because I've heard it's bad. I just didn't really get to it. And I still haven't watched Black Panther in its entirety. So, but yeah, so I think, getting back to Deadpool 3, I'm just glad to hear that, they're going to maintain that sense of creativeness and the nuances that Deadpool requires, with Ryan Reynolds overseeing a script. So those are my thoughts.
And they're going forward with Black Panther 2. Starts the filming
Hmm.
in July, and there's been some thoughts that Doctor Doom is going to show up in there, and he might become the new Thanos of the phase, or for the next 10 years, essentially. What do you think about that, with having Doctor Doom be like the big baddie?
I think that's pretty cool. I'm not someone who's acclimated to his character. I know he's been primarily a villain for the Fantastic Four, which we
Have
are
you seen
also
those
getting.
two films?
I
The
haven't
old.
seen those two films at all. I haven't seen the Fan Four Stick. I think that was the failed reboot
Oh
in
yeah, there
20
was a reboot too. The two before that, they
by
came
Tim
out.
Story. Yes, with Jessica Alba, and you had Chris Evans in the role of Johnny
Hmm.
Blaze,
Yep,
maybe.
yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know much of his character. I mean, I know what he looks like. I know his aesthetic. I don't know his origins. I don't know his motivations. They're going to be obviously not good. So, but I can see that. I think that'd be kind of cool. I also heard maybe, is it Krog the Conqueror? I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a an actor that's going to be portraying him in the next Ant-Man. I think there's just so much, man, to catch up
I
on.
know, because we could
Or
have like
Kane, I can't remember.
the
Tell
wrestler,
us, guys.
the
Comment
wrestler
below. Let
Kane.
us know. Yeah.
Oh wow, oh, they could actually do some cool stuff with, if WandaVision picks up and it ties into Doctor Strange, let's say, because Scarlet Witch is in that movie. I know that Elizabeth Olsen said that Sam Raimi is wonderful to work with. So they're doing that now. That could open up the Spider-Man 3 stuff. That could also open up the Ant-Man, which is called, I think it's called like the Quantum
I think the Quantum
Mania
Verse or
or
something, or
Quantum.
Quantum.
Yeah. So I mean, there's going to be all kinds of like time holes here.
Sorry, guys. I didn't do a lot of my research. I promise to do it next time.
No, you're good. I mean, there's a lot of rumors, and there's also a lot of facts too. So it's kind of fun to really go through some theories, and kind of predict or pick out what we like, what we don't like.
Absolutely.
Um, so Kevin Feige also mentioned that some of the Spider-Man rumors are true, and some of them are way off base. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in that movie, how it ties into Doctor Strange, because I think it's going to. What do you think? I mean, do you think these Disney Plus shows are going to directly tie in now with the cinematic universe, or the movies?
Absolutely. I think from a business and marketing perspective, you want to draw people into your services, your product. And so I think, if not that, I think at more so now than ever, Disney, if I'm not mistaken, is really placing all their bets on Disney Plus as being the premier streaming site for public general audiences. And so I do believe that we are going to see, no longer are we going to have a day of just segregated movies and television shows. Everything's going to be mixed, intertwined. And so this is a dream come true for a lot of people. A lot of people who have collected comics, who have spent time, energy, following books, offshoots from movies, games. We live in a day and age where all that's culminating together. So I really do believe 100% that going forward, there is going to be no separation, distinction between, yes, there will be films and there will be, streaming sites, but they're going to be intertwined. They're going to be all of
Yeah,
one.
I agree with you. I think it's gonna be more like in comic terms. You're gonna get your 10 issues, your Disney Plus issues, and then you're gonna have the mega
Limited
events.
series.
Yeah, the limited series. You're gonna have your issues, comics on Disney Plus, the TV shows, and then you're
You
gonna
have
have like
your
the
events.
the event series will be the movies. I think they're gonna
Yeah,
transition into that
yeah. So
because
I
I
agree.
was on. I thought that look at Thor Ragnarok. It's already started. I mean, the blend of bringing in the characters Hulk and Thor in that movie, combining them, and even with Captain Marvel or Captain America, Civil War, they had it was like a little bit of a Avengers movie.
Yeah, it was Avengers 2.5 at that point
Exactly.
in time.
Yeah, because
And I
Avengers
had no
two,
problem with that. It was a good film. As long as they're making good content, good stories, I'm okay with that.
Avengers two was it didn't perform as well as Avengers. Or it wasn't as expected, because Avengers was a major blockbuster. Avengers 2 was it made money, but it didn't make as much money as they would have liked probably. So I mean, having Civil War and those tie-ins, I think that kind of figured out, hey, they're able to adapt the comics into something larger, and with the technology now, look at what they've announced with Star Wars, how they're going mostly with TV shows now. I think you could see the same upcoming with Marvel.
Yes, I agree, and I believe Star Wars has taken a cue card from Marvel at this particular point in time. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time for a lot of us viewers. Right now, with the pandemic going on and the state of things, I still miss going to the movie theater.
Me too.
For now, this is better than nothing. We'll see about Black Widow. Do you think it's going to get pushed back out?
When's it come out?
If I'm
May?
not mistaken, Black Widow is going to be coming out in the next few months,
In May, right?
tentatively. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the premium, like a Mulan treatment. It depends. I have to look back and see how many subscribers actually did that and how many subscribers signed up for Soul.
Yeah.
Um, Black Widow is probably bigger than those two because of the MCU brand.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm not as excited for the Black Widow movie, but I mean, it's still something you have to. That's the thing. We're gonna have to keep up on this stuff to
Mm-hmm.
really be rewarded
Yeah.
with
I personally think it's going to get pushed out probably a little bit, maybe later to the summer, early fall.
like July, August.
Yeah, maybe around that time. Maybe there's a Labor Day weekend. It's tough to say. This is not Marvel news, but we've heard. Well, actually, it kind of is. Morbius under the Sony is being pushed out. So
The
I can only
same
imagine.
weekend as James Bond, right? Or is it?
I'm not sure. I can't remember if James Bond formally got pushed out or not, but I know Morbius did. Something else got pushed out, but yeah, it's crazy times right now. I mean, everybody stay safe. Make sure you're doing your part and just keeping vigilance. But this will do for right now. So
If you haven't watched all the Marvel movies, this is a good time to go back and revisit them or catch up on the ones you missed. Because from my own experience,
absolutely.
it did fill in the blanks for me. So it was a nice ending to Captain America and Tony Stark and Black Widow, I guess. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure. With the rate of Marvel news coming out so fast and concentrated, we'll probably find out sometime soon.
Another
I
thing that's
think
I'm excited also about the possibility of bringing those Netflix characters, the Daredevils, the Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, into this universe as well.
I did
And
see something on social media saying that Charlie Cox supposedly had been shooting with, or at least on the film set of Spider-Man 3. So that is confirmed and true. That's going to be fabulous. I have yet to actually watch Daredevil from Netflix or the other auxiliary shows, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and
Luke Cage,
Luke
Punisher,
Cage. Okay, I
and
was thinking Johnny Cage, but
yeah, Iron Fist is going to be possibly show up in the Shang-Chi.
yep.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Shang. Yeah, keep wanting to say
And I think
Shanghai.
the 10 rings or something. I can't remember what that title
Yeah,
is.
and they've also been kind of quiet on Eternals. We don't know much about Eternals, and that's supposed to come out in November, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's got a stacked cast. You got Kamal Nujani. You have Angelina Jolie. I hope I pronounced his name right. I apologize if I didn't. And I think you also have,
Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, whatever
yes, Jon Snow.
that
I was thinking, I was
actor's
like,
name is.
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden, also Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the gentleman that played, what movie is that from? There's that kid from a movie, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I forgot his name. He's in that too. But yeah, Eternals is definitely quiet for right now. So, I think they're pretty much quiet on a lot of their theatrical films right now. They're really pushing forward with their streaming and stuff. So,
I will say I'm also excited about Hawkeye because Haley Steinfeld is going to be in there as Hawkeye's daughter. So I like her a lot. She's a great actress, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. What are you guys' thoughts out there? What do you guys think about all these Marvel announcements? I know it's overwhelming and it changes every day. This is probably already outdated as we speak, but yeah, let us know below. And Tyler, where can people find you on the
well,
internet?
you guys can find me on Twitter. I'm at Tyler_Pacholski, Pacholski. You can find us also on our Facebook page, Friends by Film. Feel free to follow, like us there. We'll be posting our videos and stuff there. Feel free to engage with us, leave a comment, let us know what you liked, fill us in with some knowledge. Again, I'm not well versed, and Daniel, I think you're a little bit more well versed. But
I
if
try.
we've made a mistake on something, let us know. We're all learning from each other. Daniel, where can they find you?
At PoliPictures on Twitter and also on the Friends by Film Facebook group. Get us to 300 and we might have some special stuff for you. You never know.
Yeah, we've been talking, me and Daniel. So yeah.
Exactly. This is our phase 1 still, so we're happy you're with us. Thank you so much for watching or listening because there's also the podcast. So I appreciate every one of you. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Sweet. Yeah, I didn't know if that was cool to